watched as a man was dying today, and I did nothing. I walked by, as did 100 others, and watched with the same mixture of curiosity and indifference one would display while viewing a mugging or a dead dog on the street. For a few moments, I wanted to go over to him. He was shaking and losing a lot of blood. Though I did not know how to help him, it seemed as natural as my next breath. Then I stopped, and my survival instincts took over. I grew annoyed and agitated at this guy just lying there in the flow of events and the crowd I allowed myself to be swept up into. Of all the days I decided to go to the yard, this shit has to happen. Of all the fucking days. I remember that day. The November air was cold and sharp, the gray sky bright in contrast to the dimly lit corridor. I pulled up my collar, and against the wind I stepped outside. Why didn't I stop? Why didn't anybody stop, for that matter? I could have said fuck it and carried him to the emergency room. But then, could that have been interpreted as a weakness on my part? Wouldn't his assailant or assailants, whom I don't even know, be fearful of retribution in my presence? Wouldn't his enemies then become mine? The blood. What if when I knelt down beside him and the clots of blood that flowed from his throat and chest got on my clothes and the guard came? He would confine me as if I was the guilty one. He would induce me to tell on whoever did this to him. Even offer me time off my 20 to life sentence. We all know the routine. But even if I knew, I wouldn't tell him. And they know this. But they also know human nature is fickle. So they would persist anyway. Surely, as one cannot count the breaths taken in a lifetime, somebody would tell. And I would be conveniently released off investigative confinement. Wouldn't that look strange? Rumors would then begin to circulate about me, and I will grow self-conscious despite my innocence. My innocence. No, I did the right thing. This is prison. 1 + 1 = 3. 3 + 3 = 8. 8 + 8 = live another fucking day and figure all this shit out later. Right now, you shut the fuck up and keep it moving. That's it, period. You don't add, you don't subtract, you don't multiply, you don't divide. You see, you don't do none of that nonsensical shit. That'll leave you back in the corridor as 100 feet pass you by. You think I'm lying? Okay. Cancel your due process notion. Suspend your reasoning abilities for the moment. In here, one is considered guilty by the authorities and his fellow convicts until proven otherwise. And yet the stench lingers. In here, if you don't carry yourself above suspicion at all times and course, for justice is blind and swift. An ice pick to your head and your neck while leaving the shower. A knife to your stomach or back while going to the yard. Even fire in your cage while you sleeping. And for what? For caring? For violating some warped interpretation of the convict code? And we all know what that is. Mind your own fucking business. So yes, I walked by as did everyone else. Once again, I listened with a muted heart. It's my humanity. Everyone who was there's humanity was trampled underfoot. I let him die in a cold, dark tunnel the same way he came in this world, alone and frightened. And I say to myself, if I had known him, I would have knelt down beside him as the light faded from his eyes. I would have tried to silence those howling wounds, but I didn't know him. I didn't know him. I have to accept the fact that many more will die before my eyes in the dimly lit corridor, bereft the humanity its very existence cried out for. And I'll stand around the yard in the tunnel with everyone else, feigning indifference and philosophical detachment. And I'll console myself one last time. It wasn't my beef. He probably had it coming. I didn't know this motherfucker.